Alright, we were watching HollowPoint playing Kiriko on Junkertown. And this is Gold. Gold support, Overwatch player, looking for tips. Hey, I'm a gold support that's fairly new to Overwatch, been playing about a month. Welcome to the game. I was wondering if anyone was willing to VOD review one of my games. I played Kiriko and Anna, though I tend to main Kiriko. This is a fairly long game that went to overtime. After VOD reviewing myself, I noticed one big thing was I gave up high ground often, but I feel like that isn't the worst thing to do in Kiriko since she could wall climb and have a lot of survivability, not to mention her knives are much easier to hit on level ground. And that's true. I would say, for starters, I think that's very unlikely to be something that is significant. I think that space holding and creation is possible in Kiriko. I would not expect that to be a important skill to prioritize until diamond, and even I would say like high diamond, to like understand like when you could take space away from the enemy as Kiriko. I think that most likely you're going to have a lot of other issues, would be my guess. But let's take a look. So for starters, looking at your roster, so you're playing with a Mercy, a Junker Queen, a Bastion, and a Pharah. I would expect the Mercy to be pocketing the Pharah, so your job is main support here, right? I think Kiriko is really cool because she can flexibly do either main support or like secondary support. So because your Mercy is definitely going to be pocketing the Pharah here, or should be pocketing the Pharah, you should expect to be pumping most of your healing into the Junker Queen and some of your healing into the Bastion. So I would think this whole game, I'd be like, look, can you maintain line of sight on the Junker Queen constantly as long as the Junker Queen needs it? Silver trap, sure, that's fine. Heal up your Bastion. So remember that healing doesn't go through bubble. Okay, so just looking over here, you see that the healing impacts the bubble, does not go through bubble. Very, very important to know. Because I know you're new to Overwatch, so I mention it to make sure that you know that, because it's not obvious. But your Junker Queen's not in any real danger. You do not need Suzu here. Beam is one of the only things that goes through bubble, by the way. It's a very unusual mechanic in that sense. So your Junker Queen, despite the fact that she's below half health, is actually in no danger. Winston only does 60 damage a second, and Mercy heals, I think, 55. So the Winston is doing net 5 damage to the Junker Queen. To prove this, I'm going to watch this from the Junker Queen perspective so you can see how much damage she's taking. So she's 352. Okay, lands. The landing does damage. Okay, she's at 176. 184, 190, 190, 200. You see she's not actually taking any damage here. Does that make sense? So when she's behind cover here with the Mercy pocketing her, she's actually not in any danger. You do not need to throw this Suzu. So if she stepped out, it's a different story, because then the Widow could kill her, the Ana could kill her, Kiriko could kill her. But as long as she was playing this angle right here, you were actually totally fine, and you did not need to use Suzu there. Honestly, like, it seems kind of weird, but while this was going on, I would just attack the Kiriko, because I don't want to step in the bubble, because then the Winston's going to zap me. So I would just move the cart and like attack the Kiriko or do something random until the bubble faded. It doesn't make a big difference in the grand scheme of things, but like, there's no need to throw Suzu here. And again, when you try to heal, right, you throw Suzu and then you leave the bubble, and then the healing, she goes back in, so your healing's not going to do anything. So now you're going to go back in the bubble, and now you're purple, and you don't have to wait to cleanse it. Well, unless you do that. Wait, does cleanse work now again? I can't remember if they changed that. Yeah, they did change it. So if you were so stepping to cleanse purple, that's actually a pretty cute trick. I wouldn't have done that though, because I'm not really feeling like I'm in any particular threat, and it means that I can't help anybody for the next 6 seconds. 7 seconds is it actually now? Yeah, 7 seconds. So it's unlikely you would have died there. I would have held on to Swift Step to, for example, go over and help my Pharah right now. Not that she actually needs any help, but like hypothetically something could have happened. All right. DPS and tanks are getting picks. Great. Cool. Kill. Easy. Yep, pocket. So, I mean, Winston's just kind of messing around up there. He's trying to escape. Right? Like, this attacking is all fine as long as you don't lose track of anybody getting low, but again, it's like a 5-on-2, 5-on-1 advantage, so you don't have to really worry about anybody dying here. Yeah, definitely be healing the Pharah here, because really, the only thing that will cause you to lose is if people get picked. So as soon as I start seeing the Pharah take damage, right now, I would stop attacking and immediately just start healing the Pharah nonstop, just to make sure she doesn't die. Again, I don't have to get a kill here for us to win, but if the Pharah dies, there is a small chance we can lose the point. So the most important thing is to secure the win first. You do not need to get kills here to win. You do need to keep your Pharah alive. If your Pharah stays alive, there's 0% chance that they can possibly cap, because they're never going to be able to drop down to the ground. Like, I understand that even though you're hitting shots out there, like, it's not gonna matter. That's fine. Just move the cart. Alright, their team is just scattered and disorganized. Okay. Really, yeah, really important. I would keep an eye on the Mercy right there. So you can see them stepping out window. I would assume that everyone's going to shoot the Mercy, especially because she's in a weird position where she's just gliding backwards on a straight line. So very, very vulnerable to attacks right now. I would get ready to Suzu her. When this Helix came out, I would have Suzu'd her just to make sure she doesn't get bursted down and killed. Because it's unlikely that anyone else will need Suzu, right? Everyone here is focused on the Junker Queen. The D.Va is not going to do any damage to sorry, all the people are focused on the Mercy. The D.Va is not going to do any damage to the Junker Queen. You have a full health Pharah who no one is looking at, and you have your full health Bastion right next to you as well. There's nobody who's going to die here except for the Mercy. I would Suzu here because the Helix is a direct, will be 120 damage, and then it's only 4 more bullets after that to kill the Mercy. So she could die almost instantly here. I think you should Suzu the Mercy. They missed the Helix, but I think it was the right call to Suzu. At this point, I would Suzu the Bastion if I still had it right away. Yep, you were kind of slow there. Right? The second that happens, step forward towards the Bastion and splash between us. Play you get. Right idea. I think you're just like a second slower than I would have liked, but you know, it happens. At higher levels, you could potentially do something there. One thing I think you should recognize, this is a small optimization. The fight is clearly over. It's been over for a while. I would try to stay with the cart to keep the cart moving at constant speed. See how you leave it and the cart, nobody's moving the cart right now? You don't need to be backing away in this angle. Like, this fight's over. You should be just moving the cart. In the grand scheme of things, this is going to cost you probably 4 or 5 seconds of time, which is not that big a deal, but stuff like this adds up, you know? Like, over the course of, like, multiple times where you step off cart when you don't need to, it can add up. And sometimes you wish you had 5 more seconds to get to the cart and stall, you know? It does happen. You might as well give yourself all advantages. So first thing is, when you come out of here, you need to already be aimed at headshot level, and you can see that you're only aimed at mid-chest. This is something that I can do this even without seeing them, just from experience. Like, I visually know on my screen, like, I can orient myself to get at about headshot level before I even peek this. But once you come out, you need to be at headshot level and then hold it. I think it's reasonable to keep attacking there if you want to, but the problem is nobody is on the cart, and that is your job. In this lineup, you're responsible for being on the cart. So after you start, like, it was fine to jump up there initially, to just mess around and like poke a little bit if you want to, but after everyone starts moving forward and the gates open, you should be here. So let's actually look. So the cart can start moving right now. Let's see how long it takes you to get down here. Wow, this is pretty bad. This is really bad. So I'm not going to go back and check necessarily, but that's at least 13 seconds since I started looking at the clock. So that plus the 5 seconds earlier means you've lost 18 seconds from just not being on the cart. And it is your job, right? Why is it your job in the situation? Junker Queen has to make space. Your DPS has to make space. Mercy's going to be pocketing your DPS. So it's you on the cart here. Plus, you can swift step to somebody if they need it very quickly and easily. The Bastion, you could argue, might stay on cart, but if he has the opportunity to take space, he should. And he can always get the opportunity. He has a good chance of getting picks for people who are out of position. So I think it's fair to not. Okay. Fair for the Bastion to not be on cart. So right here, you should get used to pre-healing people who are in the lead. Right? The Bastion's overextended here. This is a mistake. So he's tank form, which makes him super slow. He's ahead of the tank. He has no cover here. When he's in tank mode, he's super, super slow, so it takes him a long time to get back behind cover. And he has no defensive abilities. You should be pre-healing the Bastion right now because he is overextended. Attacking is the wrong call. Okay, now armor shredded, and now you start healing. He's at 50 health. Yeah, he dies. Exactly. That's all you, right? All you. You easily could have saved them without Suzu even. Just healing, just recognizing. The second he does this, I'm like, this is a mistake. But start healing the Bastion. Like, that's your job, is to just cover up for that mistake. Alright, Hanzo's above you. I think it's a good Swift step up. I didn't challenge Hanzo right away. Ugh. So, you get a little lost here. Yeah. Okay, so when you Swift step, you should see the Hanzo on your right. There's no reason to be looking to your left. Like, this is really confusing. Then you should keep spinning, but you lose track of the Hanzo, and you're like, oh, what is happening? So generally when this happens, my advice is back away from where you were. So if you teleport up here and you lose track of what's going on, just back away until you can see what's happening to be able to quickly acquire the target. So Hanzo dies here to the Pharah, but you heard/saw the Kiriko blink in. So you should, yeah, exactly, start targeting her immediately. I don't mind that you didn't heal the Pharaoh right away, because I think the Kiriko was a potential kill there, and you had the advantage. You just missed your shots. Suzu? Yep. You're too slow on the Suzu. You 100% should have died here. So like this comes, you immediately snap down in Suzu, or even just Suzu right away. Snuzu. You should Suzu right away right here to prevent yourself from dying. Like you see that was quite slow. There's a lot of times where that will usually result in you dying. You have to be quicker with that. I don't know if it's console or mouse and keyboard. Oh, this is PC. So yes, on PC, there's no excuse for you to not instantly snap down and Suzu yourself. So after you Suzu yourself, you should immediately look to swift step. I would already be thinking right now, who am I swift stepping to get out of this? So probably you want to swift step to your Bastion. That should be the safest person. So you should immediately do this, Suzu, and then swift step. Right, you're quite lucky to not have anybody follow up after Suzu kill you. If I was the Risa there, this is what I would have done. Right? So first of all, I would have recognized that the sleep had happened, but she comes back. Right? She sees that you're sleeping right now, has to kill the... I guess the Pharah ulti is actually what saves you here, because the Orisa could have just killed you. But because the Pharah's ulting, it's reasonable that the Orisa had to kill the Pharah first. So again, I think you were very lucky to not die here. You should have died. You should have switched stepped up immediately after Suzuing. Okay, so messy fight right now. Junker Queen's in, Bastion's in. You're being pocketed by the Mercy, so you need to be aggressive right now. I know it's weird. Aggressive, not die damage, but getting back into the fight and start healing. Because you should be stepping forwards right now, like dodging the Orisa fire, and then helping to heal the Bastion. And again, recognize that if you swift step to the Bastion initially, you would be in a better position. Though actually, now I look at this, you should just swift step to the Bastion instead of having to walk up there. You should be on the Bastion right now healing him. But too late. Tanks are very deceptive. They can look low, but because they have so many defensive abilities and like their health bars are quite large, this tank might look like it's vulnerable, but she's actually really hard to kill. Right? She has spin right now. She might have fortify coming up soon. Right, in 9 seconds, like it's much harder to kill tanks than you might imagine. So by default, don't waste time attacking tanks if you don't have to, right? If you have better things to do, and don't expect them to die quickly if you can kill like another squishy instead. So again, not the Orisa to be targeting here. Target the Kiriko or target the soldier. You do not want to be targeting the Orisa. Walking in a straight lines is how you die. So the Kiriko gets killed here, but you see how you're just walking in a straight line to the right? Like, I would have hit at least one headshot on you there, just from the fact that you're just walking in a straight line. Now, this Kiriko is crazy and just hopping towards you, right? You hit this headshot. I don't know how much of that was skill, because you didn't really go to headshot level, unless you were timing that she was going to come down, but we'll give it to you. You know, you got the kill. The Kiriko was clearly way out of position. There's no reason for them to be pushing that. So remember now with the new Kiriko changes, you can heal and then weave in 2 attacks before your next heal without slowing it down. Yeah, alright, yeah, too slow. Right, look. But again, you should be paying attention to sound cues. So sound in the replay is going to be very muted because of the way my system is. But in the game, you would hear your Bastion just churning out gunfire. And if I see the Bastion here shooting, like I can't see the recent game, I know something serious is happening here. You know what I mean? Like nothing survives point blank damage from a Bastion that isn't a tank. So I would think, oh, is my tank going to die here? My Pharah is not in danger of dying. My tank is not in danger of dying. I would immediately swift step here and Suzu. Just recognizing, especially once he got critical. At this point, actually, I don't even think I swift step. I just throw Suzu because that would be faster than swift stepping, and then swift step to him. Yeah, too late. You let your Bastion die there. No reason for that to happen. Finish the recent now. Yeah, now it's good because now you figure because she was fighting the Bastion at point blank, she probably doesn't have any defensive cooldowns left. So now it's an easy time to kill her. Unfortunate because now your Bastion is dead and you have to wait for the. I don't have to wait, but like your Bastion's not going to be here in the fight. If your Bastion was alive right now, there's probably a guaranteed cap. Without your Bastion, there's a chance that your team could not get this. So don't walk backwards to your Bastion. He's not a Kiriko. He can't jump to you. It's not going to matter. Just continue to hold space here. Again, you're leaving the cart. You see right there? So you leave the cart right now. It is your job to move the cart. Right? Cart's not moving, cart's not moving. Then you swift step, cart's not moving. Again, like your team has won the fight. Like all you have to do is move the cart. This is a very common problem that you're suffering from. And you're forcing the Mercy to drop down. Yeah. So the Mercy drops down low because you're not on the cart to move the cart. because somebody needs to move it. But because of this, she's now on the ground, which makes her much more vulnerable to, for example, Pharah. So Pharah has very low chance, especially in gold, of directing a Mercy in the air. But because she's on the cart, she's now too low, which causes her to take that shot. Is that going to make a difference? Probably not. But again, sometimes it does. And like little sloppy things like that can result in you can result in you losing. So far your team is still just steamrolling. Your DPS feel a lot better than theirs, and I would say your tank feels better too. So once again, you're like leaving the chase kill. Just move the cart, right? Like let the everyone else on this team is better at getting kills than you, except for Mercy. You're way too like impatient about leaving the cart. Ultimately, the cart's what really matters, you know? Keep moving the cart. Keep moving the cart. Very, very important. It is your job to keep moving the cart. The second that the Bastion eats this javelin, I Suzu. Right now. Because could be a lot of fallout damage, she could die, right? There could be a Helix coming, there could be lots of things. I don't know. The door's just open, so I don't have the ability to read the situation quickly. So I would Suzu. Because remember last time when the Bastion died, you should have learned from that mistake. The Bastion trying to just tank form out here in the open is a mistake. Okay? At least the Bastion should have been playing like right here, or maybe like behind the cart. Something else to give the Bastion cover. Just playing out in the open is a mistake. Letting your Bastion die here is going to cost you like 15 seconds as the Bastion responds and have to walk back out. And if they were smart, they could step up here and pin you in, and this is a very hard choke to fight through. Little things like this can add up. Alright, you hear the Pharah behind you. Alright, I think it's fine right now to just stall a little bit. Again, yeah, pocket. Yeah, keep healing. Keep healing. Yep, I think going here is fine. Going with the Pharah. Oh, unfortunately, it hits the Kiriko in front of you. That's very unlucky. She's just like happened to be in the position. So you pop this Kitsune, but like, is anyone using this? Right? There is no friendlies on this Kitsune. Like just now, your Pharah gets to it. I don't think this was a good Kitsune. And I think you have to read like, hey, can anyone actually use this? Right? Try to save. I also don't know why you swift stepped forwards there. That was incredibly silly. So you're safe back here. This is a good position. Good position right now. Just keep healing. Right? Just keep healing. Right? Throw a couple kunais. Heal. Kunais. Heal. Kunais. Over and over again. You swift stepping forward. As soon as I saw this Orisa, I would try to kill you. What are you going to do? I saw you throw Suzu, and I saw you throw... I saw you swift step. As Orisa, if I was playing the Orisa right here, you are 100% dead. I don't care. There's literally the whole team be shooting at me. There is no way you could possibly prevent me from killing you at this point in time. It would be like trivially easy for me to kill you as Orisa. This is like a massive mistake. You're just not going to get punished for this because it's gold. Right? Because again, I'm like, okay, I'm going to run into you. I'm going to spin, and I'm javelin, and you're dead. And even the Mercy killing you is only going to give you 55 damage. Not enough to save you. You're dead. Like, don't do this. Swift stepping, right, especially if you don't have Suzu, is extremely dangerous. You always think, like, can I survive in this situation? Going in front of their whole team right there is very dangerous. So then you pop Kitsune Rush, but again, your team was backing away, right? Because their team is strong right now. And you know because your team is backing away. Like, they don't feel comfortable staying up. Your Bastion has already done tank form. It should be coming back up soon. Right? He's got 6 seconds. So I think your team is kind of waiting for the threat, like the cycle, right? Your Bastion's strong, then your Bastion's weak. Your Bastion's strong, your Bastion's weak. So they're just kind of waiting for Bastion to get back in. But your Kitsune Rush is completely wasted because, again, nobody uses it. The Pharah flanks here, but she doesn't really need the Kitsune Rush. Like, it doesn't change anything about this fight. I think you should have just saved Kitsune. It's a good flank by her, right? Pharah's making really good plays. So this is a good example where now you're playing too far away. She's critical. I immediately swift step and then Suzu her. Why? Because I just saw 2 people die. So there's a lot less people here that could possibly kill me versus last time when I blinked into the whole team. So here, I should just call it blink, you know. Here, if you blink in, right, and then Suzu, you should be totally fine. The Orisa's low, right? You're going to have... the Suzu would also affect you. It's going to be 3-on-1, maybe 3-on-2. I can see my Junker Queen's already in their backline as well. There's almost no chance of you dying right now, even if I have all my abilities as Orisa. Your Junker Queen's absolutely fragging. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's not a good fight. That's unfortunate. Like, if she wants to solo ult you in front of your spawn, like, just take it. There's not a lot you could have done differently here, other than like juke and fake and climb back up. But I don't think if I were you, I don't think I would have thought of that because I would have been so stunned that I just got solo ulted for no reason in my spawn. Right? This delays you for 10 seconds max, and the card's gonna move anyway, and you can swift step out. So it's really only gonna be like a 5-second delay to your team. Right? You can you should have turned up here and just turned to the left and swift step to your mercy, and then you wouldn't have lost any time. It's crazy to me that you're not doing this. You can still do it. Yeah. I would have swift stepped earlier just to have swift step available sooner. You have to pocket your mercy. As supports, I would say, in generally speaking, as all heroes, when you see an enemy who could kill you shooting like behind you, recognize that they think that whatever target they're shooting at is more likely to die than you. So you should take advantage of that and/or stop them from doing that. Okay, if the Baptiste is not shooting you, which is kind of surprising since you're out in the open, it means he thinks you can kill the Mercy. You should be pocketing the Mercy right now. So you whiff this. So first of all, you do this healing. That healing is not high value. It's really far away. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but I think really you need to heal your Mercy here. She gets crazy low. You have to throw that Suzu down here. I'm surprised that actually hit her. Like, that's a situation where your Mercy should have died because you were slow to the heal / tossing heals at people in the front line who didn't need it yet. Unlucky. There's not a lot you could have done about that, right? You're just healing. You see this, you should start healing as soon as possible, which you do, but, you know, she gets directed and dies. There's nothing you can really do there. So you don't have Suzu because you tossed that Mercy earlier, which she sort of needed. With the benefit of seeing what we saw, we could tell the Mercy didn't see, but in your situation, I can understand why you threw Suzu. So I think that's fair. And now you don't have Suzu to help the Bastion. I do think that you could have been healing the Bastion earlier. Okay? So you heal here, she's dead, right? You throw the kunai, fine. Your heals are back up. You should immediately be healing the Bastion, but you don't. You see how you swing away? You just use that whole Tanafuda like heal away from the Bastion instead of healing the Bastion, who is being targeted. The default rule is that when Bastion is in tank form, everyone should devote all their resources into Bastion. He is the most dangerous hero in the game when he has tank form. Like, you must heal him in that situation. Even if it's full, I would keep healing him to make sure that he doesn't get bursted down. So then you have your healing. You wasted 6 heals before you start healing your Bastion again. And you should be moving forwards to get your healing to the Bastion sooner. Right? So there's a lot of like micro mistakes here, but your Bastions right now has 100 health. But if you're doing this correctly, your Bastion will probably more have like 200 to 250 health, which would probably mean he doesn't die in time, even without Suzu. So you could have saved your Bastion here. Not at the moment that he died, but the series of errors that led up to his death for the last 3 or 4 seconds, you could have saved the Bastion. Then you throw the Suzu, but like now it's too late. This is like locking the barn door after the horses have escaped kind of situation. Like he's dead. Now you throw the Suzu. Pharaoh's in your face. It's a good headshot, and then you die. Tough situation here. I mean, it's like, do you Suzu out? Do you challenge? At 103, like, you're one-shottable, but he has to hit a direct. She has to hit a direct. You know, I think you just try to juke here. One thing I will say is that for flying heroes, it can be very difficult if you move directly under them. Because once you move directly under, usually people can't rotate. You see how I can't move further down? If you can get under them and cross over to the other side, that can be very, very difficult for them to deal with. It doesn't last that long, but it can buy you an extra second or two. The optimal play here is to swift step to avoid risking the death from this direct rocket. And you probably could swift step to either your Pharah. Probably your Pharah is the best option, is to swift step to your Pharah. But I also understand the challenge here, especially after you hit the headshot. I think this is an okay death, is what I'm trying to say. There were better ways for you to have played it that you could have known about and recognized, but it is an okay death, and I'm not so worried about it. Just like the last death of the Pharah, I think is okay. Okay, this, yeah, so Suzu right away. Like, she's in this weird position. I'd be like, oh, immediately Suzu and immediately swift step out. Or just walk out, that's fine too. And now that I saw her do that, I would be thinking about that for the rest of the game. Is that Pharah likes to sneak and try to get, like, cheeky kills. So be checking all your corners from here on out. You gotta go to this. Again, if your tank dies, the fight's over anyway. I would have immediately swift stepped to my Junker Queen. I see the javelin's gone. Now I'm going for sure. No reason not to go here. Oh. Okay, let's look at it from the Junker Queen perspective. She's out here, probably overextended. She is. Right, she's out here. She gets javelin, swings. She's alive for a long time, you know. But you swift step in here, and this is a problem that you also had, is that you get lost after you swift step in because you're not used to where it drops you. Like you're right inside of the Junker Queen. You can just heal and then like step out this way. But instead, you get this weird situation where you spin around. You miss basically all of this healing on the Junker Queen. If you hit it all, it's possible she still would have died. I mean, Orisa was nanoed, so you know, kind of is what it is. But I think that Suzu is fine. Right? Again, make sure you track the Mercy as you're healing. Just heal the Mercy. Just you and Mercy heal each other, and the Orisa won't be able to kill you, probably. Right? As long as you don't get javelin, you think you're fine. Now come back in. Yep, save the Junkrat. Great. I would not look away. Like something could happen. The Orisa could have javelin, for example, and then turn really quickly. Orisa's an idiot. That's a big throw by the Orisa. No reason she should die there. It's okay. Don't obsess over this. Sometimes people will do this where they get confused, like, oh, where are my supports? Don't just stare in tunnel vision on the Junkrat because you're losing track of what's happening up here. Just check back, like occasionally, and see if the Junkrat ever comes back to you. You know, see, now your Junker Queen got super low, right? And your Reaper is low, so you're not keeping up with the healing because that the Junkrat distracted you too much. Like, don't fret so much. Like, the Junkrat is totally safe in the backline, right? If he wants to run this weird route, go over here, go get a Mega or whatever, let him do it. Right? He should be aware enough to recognize like where you are. You could also tap like X at him through the wall so he knows where you are. Now you should heal your Junkrat. It takes you way too long to recognize, to like do the spin. Like you can hear the footsteps. Like you should be able to tell right away. You do literally a full 360 to heal him. Now you're out of position. You didn't fully heal the Junkrat. This is a bad swift step. Unless it's good. So I'll tell you why I think this is a bad swift step. So I think you should be walking up to push the cart with the rest of your team. Okay? And if stuff happens over here, it's a problem because you're not going to be there to assist. It's kind of lucky. I would be surprised. I don't know if this game's going to end up in a win or a loss. Well, you said it goes to overtime, so I don't actually know what's going to happen. But like your DPS are like diffing them pretty hard here, as is your tank, I would say, overall. So I think it's lucky that their team is missing all these shots because Soldier on high ground should be murdering your Mercy right now without you. Right? If I'm the Soldier right here, this Mercy is dying. There's no way I'm going to let her live. And it's quite lucky that that doesn't happen, A, and then B, you come up here and hit a double headshot, which is actually huge value. I just don't think that's consistent. I wouldn't throw the Suzu. The reason why I wouldn't throw the Suzu is that your Junker Queen's totally safe behind the cart. You just got to pick, okay? Just hold on to it, right? She's nearly full health. It's fine. She's not going to die here. You don't have to be like, oh, purple, immediately cleanse. She's not in danger. Like, for example, if she was up here and got purple, yeah, go ahead, cleanse that. But this far in the back, behind cover, totally fine. Just let it go. Save Suzu for when you need it, right? You see how long Suzu cooldown is? Like 12 seconds or something. It's one of the longest cooldowns in the game. 14 seconds. Yeah, I think Bastion regen burst is 15. I think those are the longest cooldowns in the game that I can think of. Besides ultimates, obviously, which don't really have cooldown per se. So you swift step up to the Reaper. And this is a good example where Suzu would have put you in a much better position. So Pharah hits that shot, which honestly should have been a direct. Pharah hits that shot, which definitely could have killed you. So you should have Suzu'd the second rocket to make sure you don't die. And that is just luck that you don't die right here. And again, you should have Suzu available because you shouldn't have thrown it at the Junkrat. Now you drop into the middle of the team. And then there's some panic here. Okay. So starting from when you drop down, it's tough because like you're just trying to get down as soon as possible, but this is a terrible spot to drop. The Orisa should kill you right now. It's like honestly kind of boggling that the Orisa does not kill you at this moment in time. You are very, very lucky. Pharah's on you again. Yeah, this is fine. I think the way you actually play this is fine. Like moving to the opposite side of her, trying to get the kill. Yeah, this is good. I like this. Junker Queen's still alive. The problem is that they have closer spawns than you do. So situations like this often end up just being eternal staggers. And I would be aware of that. I think it's still the right call to go, but I would think like, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'm also okay with just dying here and letting it go. Yeah, which is exactly the way this is starting to feel. Like, you see, there's not a lot that you can do in this situation to, like, get out of here. Well, I mean, you waited so long that your respawner is alive. This Orisa is failing to kill you. Okay, so just I know this is about the Orisa, but I want to demonstrate how fragile you are right now. So you have no Suzu and you have no Swift Step. Okay, I've spun you up in the corner, so now there's no way for you to dodge. Like you literally can't dodge. She could have just javelined you right there, right while you're held up in the against the wall. I also don't know why she's not pushing. It's 416 health. She should be pushing right now. This is really weird. That was a bad javelin. Wouldn't even tried it. I would just kill you in the room. Right here. Shooting, spinning. Right? Activate javelin right now. And it pins you against the wall, you instantly die. And then I kill the Junker Queen at my feature. And after that, she pops Fortify, and then she backs away instead of walking forwards. She should just walk forwards into you, and then just melee you and you're dead. You are very, very lucky to die. This is just like basically what I'm trying to say here is this is not skill that you got out, right? Based on the abilities that people had in the positioning, this is a very standard kill. I think in Platinum, even in Platinum, I think you're just 100% dead in that situation. There's no reason you should have got out of that. And you die anyway. So as I previously mentioned, this is like one of those situations where it can kind of turn into like a weird eternal stagger. It's like the cart's moving. Actually, I guess most of the people survived here. Everybody survived here. Okay, wow, you're actually going to cap this. Take that back. Apparently the other team is just no good. Okay, so attack still went pretty well. 24 seconds on the clock is good. It's not not a bad time by any means, but I think full cap is always good. Extra time on that is even better. One thing to think about, whenever you come out here, it is very, very common for Widows and Hanzos to come out of this top door and immediately look for a pick. So I would never do something like what you just did, which is just casually walk out here and just like be like, oh, hey, what's going on here? I would jiggle peek this repeatedly to see what the DPS are before I do anything. If you die right here off the start, that immediately will make sure that the cart pushes all the way over to this corner if you die. That's why you have to need to make sure that you don't die at the start. It's very, very important. And like sloppy things like that, like, yeah, maybe only happens like 1 out of 10 games, but if that causes you to lose the game, then you're losing 10% of your games from something that's entirely preventable. So Junkrat's like very out of position. I think it's okay that you went here because you had Suzu available. I think backing off is also okay here. I think that, honestly, looking at what was going on, I actually probably would have stayed up top with the Junkrat because you have really strong high ground control and no one is contesting. And I could tell that because when I went out the door, I didn't see anybody up here shooting at the Junkrat. So I probably would have stayed here and fought it out with the Junkrat. And then potentially, if needed, heal the Orisa. But that Pharah in the air is going to be a problem. See, that's who your Mercy should actually be playing with is the Pharah. And I think hopefully she's going to go to that now. You should see the Pharah. You got to heal the Pharah. Yep. Pretty good. I think it's pretty good reaction. I think you're probably going to keep climbing, right? So you're month in, you're already gold. I think you're probably heading to at least low plat in your near future. Like I would say overall, your play looks pretty clean to me. Like if you showed me this gameplay like in itself of just you and not like paying attention to your teammates, I would say that this doesn't look like gold to me. I would say this looks like at least plat. So I want to go back and check out to see if you could have saved the Pharah. No. Yeah, not your responsibility. Your Mercy isn't playing up enough. Your Mercy needs to be more aggressive playing with the Pharah, or the Pharah needs to play more defensively. Do not save that Junkrat. Yeah, that Junkrat is overextended and making poor decisions. You saw the Mercy, your Mercy eat that Pharah shot. Right? Right here. Start healing the Mercy. Yeah, big mistake. This healing is not going to do anything. Like this like dream healing where you just chuck it over to the wall is not a good idea. Right? I think that you should just heal your Mercy here and then watch, like, healed, looked back, and seen what was going to happen with the Junkrat. That's a pretty good aim for a Suzu that far away. I think if you're trying to save the Junkrat at this point, you need to be walking forwards because you're safe at the cart. You see everyone's left the cart. Walk forwards right now after you heal the Mercy, then Suzu, then heal, and your Junkrat probably lives if he has concussive. But he doesn't, or just makes us. He kills the Reaper. I don't think it's worth analyzing. There's like a little things here that you could have like theoretically done a little better, but it's not going to change the outcome. Your team is still going to lose. You're down 2. So one thing I think about is evolving what your plan is according to how people played in the game, not just the compositions, is important. I've already identified that both of my DPS are way too aggressive. They both consistently overextend, right? Remember the Bastion too? I can't remember which one was the Bastion, but the Bastion was like crazy. I think it's the Junkrat. Like crazy overextended on a regular basis. I have to play further up than I expect or feel comfortable to in order to heal. I don't want to die, but I want to play further up than I would expect to try to keep them alive as much as possible. So for example, how would that change my decision making here? I would keep running forwards. You see how you slow down a little bit? I would be like ready to go out. Yeah, the Fair is just an idiot. There's nothing you could actually have done here, but I would just be thinking that. I'm just telling you in my head, I'd be thinking, okay, I got to try to help something. Fair dies. Okay, it is what it is. Like they are getting kills. I would not Suzu here. You don't need to. You take a rocket, you're not in any danger, like you're not gonna be able to shoot you yet. I would wait and see how this plays out. Once she came through, and I saw this, I would Suzu if I saw a rocket coming at me. I would have thrown that kunai. I see the Mercy, she's got, 60, 70 health right now. Everyone's full health. I'm throwing kunais right now. Right? She's down to 40 health. Right? One tap and any little bit of damage would kill her. She's at like 45-ish. So, pop quiz. Do we contest this cart or not? Even though we're down 1. And the answer is yes. You should always, as a rule of thumb, contest at the very end, assuming you can have any chance at reasonably delaying the cart. Like 1 on 5, don't drop because you're just going to die immediately. Okay? 4 on 5, drop. Right? Definitely drop. Try to get them to force out an ultimate is typically the way it goes. That's the general rule. There are exceptions. There's a lot of like complexities, especially if there's a very strong choke after it. But I think in this situation, I would definitely drop and fight this. And you should have been ready to do that as well. Right? You have to mentally know, like, we're going to contest. Like, your Junker Queen's booking it out the door. You have to get ready to drop out. You need to be walking forwards, not backwards. You have to get out the door. Right? Up here, it's not going to matter. Like, this out here, you have to go and help your Junkrat. Nobody is contesting. Okay, you guys just let him cap. All right, whatever. It is what it is. See, now you tire and kill them. But like, why wouldn't you just do this 1 second earlier? You know what I mean? And then they wouldn't have forward spawn. This whole fight is now worthless. Everything that's happening here, all the kills that matter are completely worthless because their spawn is right there. So you delay them for like 5 seconds. Who cares? Right? And for folks who aren't aware, the reason why I say it doesn't matter is if you kill them right here, 5 seconds later or 7 seconds later, whatever it is, they respawn and they walk back to the cart in 5 seconds. It's like 12 seconds stall, let's say. 5 seconds is an exaggeration. But if you kill them over here, hypothetically, how much of a stall that is? Well, 12 seconds just to get there, and then another 10 plus seconds-ish to get here. So it's about a 30-second stall if you kill them at the end of a run versus if you kill them right outside the spawn. This is why in some scenarios you'll see teams like basically spawn camp you, and then you like lose a fight, and then you come out and then you wipe them and then you run the entire rest of the way. And you're like, wow, we still have a lot of time left. It's because fights don't matter nearly as much for the attacking team. Like losses don't matter if they're right next to their spawn.
Thanks for the touch-up. What's up? Thanks for the touch-up. What's up?
So you're like trying to Suzu her out of the air, which is admirable, but like not necessarily a good call or consistent. I would have waited a moment. Well, actually, I think the Swiss step's still okay because you have healing right now. You just need to track the Pharah out of the air and heal her, which you don't do in time. Right? You see how you just missed all 10 of that, and you had waited for her to come back to the ground anyway. So, it was a nice effort, but ultimately, mechanically, you just didn't have it. And now that you don't have Suzu, Pharah pops out, you could have saved with Suzu right there. It would have been tough, but you could have saved with Suzu. You get the headshots, which is a really good job. I think you got a headshot. Either way, she died pretty quickly. And then you're just going to get wiped here. That's pretty regular. Not a lot you could do in that situation. I think that depth is fine. I think Kitsune is good-ish here. I mean, it's a good angle, but the problem is nobody's actually here, but they're going to be here soon. So I think this is okay. And you have to slow the card out. Don't target the Junker Queen. This is a waste of time. You want to A, stay away from the Junker Queen, B, target squishies. right? In roughly that order in terms of movement, and then also heal people. Healing your Junker Queen, the Junker Queen versus Junker Queen duel is not that important compared to healing your DPS. Your tank has consistently proven that she can handle herself. Okay? I'm not so worried about my tank dying. I'm worried about my DPS who have been dying all game long. You need to be pumping more healing into your DPS. Right? This fight is not the important fight right now. This fight over here, you see? This is what matters. Again, you see how long your I keep doing Junker. You see how long your Junkrat goes without healing, right? Takes damage, right? Takes damage, dies. That whole time, the Junkrat was standing right next to you. Starting from here. Okay? At any point in time, you have Suzu this whole time too. No, you also have Suzu. At any moment in time, you could have saved that Junkrat. And you didn't. Like, how long is this actually the Junkrat goes without healing? Like, we're not going to count this. We'll see when he drops. Alright, we're at 12:45 right now. So that's 7 seconds, right? Just shy of 7 seconds that the Junkrat didn't get any healing from a support who was right next to him that had all of her abilities on and was receiving no pressure. That's very important, okay? If the Pharaoh was shooting at you and you're like dodging the rockets, that's different, okay? That's totally different. But in this situation, right, where you're just like being greedy and trying to attack the Junker Queen, that's a mistake. Right? It's just really low value for you to be attacking the Junker Queen here. I think if you just heal the Junkrat, you win this fight. I'm not saying you need to pocket Junkrat the whole time, but one healing or one Suzu would have changed how this went at all, completely. Again, like now is the time you need to attack because you've lost all of your DPS, or at least one of your DPS. Good headshot. Don't walk towards her. Her cleave does a ton of damage. It does, I think, what is it now? Like 80 plus 60 bleed? Something like that? It's a lot of damage. It's a shocking amount of damage. All you should do is you should just play Ring Around the Rosie with the cart. Like, going to the left is not the right call, right? Imagine in a game of tag. If she's playing the left side, you play this side, right? If she goes right, then you go left. If she goes left, you go right. And just keep circling her. If she goes over the top, swift step away. Right? Don't get close to her. And this is an interesting swift step. I don't know why you do this. Right? Everyone here is fine. Like, the Junker Queen is totally fine. She's gotten res. The Mercy is totally fine. You swift step in, and then, as I mentioned, like, opposing teams will key in when you use those abilities and immediately try to kill you. Okay? You swift step in, mistake, right? She hits you with the axe, then she shoots you, and then she blades you. Or knifes you. Yeah, that's a big mistake. There's no reason why you should have died there. Like, this is a very much an unforced error. I'm gonna go back to this point. Okay, again, no reason for you to go inside. You do, and then you die, and because you die, nobody can keep the Mercy alive. Wow, the Pharaoh's hitting directs. And then there's not really a lot of sustain here. Again, it's 2-on-2. They really shouldn't lose this. Bastion comes out. Now Mercy's here, kills that. Can't find the Pharaoh in time. Unfortunate. And then dies. Yeah, that's you should have held that for sure. How much time they have? Wow, they're really chugging along quick. You see the Reaper. I would go after the Reaper first, not the Pharaoh. It's like much more consistent to hit the Pharaoh. The Reaper rather. You're kind of slow here. Again, she's being chased. She eats the rocket. I would just swift step to her. Right? This healing is all just colliding to the wall. This is like a consistent problem that you have, is that you just don't recognize, like, you don't think, can my healing realistically reach the target? Yeah, I think it's not the right call to not swift step. Like, the Reaper's not close enough to the Mercy to actually kill her, and she gets behind cover. So remember, your Bastion's going to be going to tank form soon, and you want to pocket your Bastion during this. So they threw sleep, great. So now your Bastion can freely tank form whenever. Tank forms, immediately start pocketing your Bastion. Right? I would just keep healing the Bastion right now, just to make absolutely sure. Then once this happens, right? I don't go that fair, definitely not. So you've moved too far away from your tank. You have to go forwards to start pocketing your tank. You're too far away. Reaper ulti's gone off. You have to throw Suzu. Right? You barely get that off, but it does help her. It buys her enough time to get shout off, which is great. So again, it's not really your job to kill her. Like, help if you can, but I'd be keeping an eye on the Junker Queen and being like, hey, can I do anything to help her? Unfortunately, you can't. She's purpled, so kind of is what it is. Yeah, pocket. Yep, just non-stop healing. It's top tier. Because the Bastion does die very quickly because he's nanoed. If he wasn't nanoed, you have a pretty realistic shot at Suzuing. With the nano, the Bastion dies so fast, and it's unlikely you could have saved him. Like, even if you were very, very good. I think the only thing here is when I see the nanoed Pharah come down, I would immediately Suzu. I think that would be a top tier, like, Masters Plus level, like recognition, or that is what I would have to do in this situation to try to keep the Bastion alive, because the Pharah will two-shot him otherwise, right? Much less with ulti. You die. You definitely could have survived this, though. That you shouldn't have died to. You should have Suzu'd yourself and then turned and looked for somebody spawning to Swift Step to. There isn't anybody, which is unfortunate. You could Swift Step to the Pharah and just play the odds, but that's what I would have tried to do, at least. Alright, you don't get a chance to contest. Yeah, they absolutely steamrolled you on attack. Okay, you go Anna. Interesting. I think Anna's good here, right? For sure. So, once again, a little slow on the draw with your Bastion. Okay, clearly they're playing close. You would have heard the gunshots already. Right. As soon as I saw this, I would have immediately gone. I would chuck the grenade forward here to make sure I hit my Bastion and maybe the Reaper if he steps into it and start pocketing him. You're just a little bit slow here for the save. Right? It's that last step backwards that throws me off, because there's no reason for you to step backwards again. You should already be walking towards the cart. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason that I would step backwards at that point. I would have already dropped by now. Like, it's not your job to be like a sniper. I mean, there are some playstyles where you could do that, but it's not your job to snipe anybody. You should just be going for the Bastion, or alternatively killing the Mercy in this situation. So if you gotten the grenade off earlier and gotten a dart, you 100% could have pocketed him through this. You and the Mercy, like with the bonus healing, would have pocketed the Bastion and would have killed everyone. All right, you kill the Reaper. The second Reaper dies, go for the Mercy. Go for the Mercy. Please go for the Mercy. Really? Is this actually going to happen? Wow. Okay, so obviously target priority is something you need to work on. You know, I was like going for the Mercy even before she started rezzing. Now that she's rezzing, you definitely should be going for the Mercy. Could you have saved the Mercy? I think you could have. Right? You heal the Junkrat there, but you should have first have been Mercy first. Your Junkrat's not actually in danger of dying. So you could have saved her if you had been healing the Mercy. Yep, good. I think that's the right call. Then nade yourself, yep. Heal, reload, and drop. You have to drop. Like, you're playing way too bad. Reload, please. You have 2 out of 50 ammo. You have to reload. What the heck? Alright, you finally noticed it. This is why you don't stand still in the cart. Aim's okay. I wouldn't say it's funny because your Kiriko aim actually I think felt like overall a little better. Your Anna aim feels like low plat to me, which is higher than where you are right now, but it doesn't feel like it's good enough for you to get you all the way to diamond. stay on the cart. At this point, like, other people are going to need to leave the cart to do stuff. Like, you can't rely on your teammates to be standing in the cart here. Like, Junker Queen has to step forward. Right, Bastion has to look for angles, Widow has to look for angles, the Mercy's got to be pocketing them. You were playing way too far from the cart, please play the cart. I think this is okay. Once it gets to here, I think it's okay to back off in case they drop it out and contest to prevent them from jumping into you. But when it's generally moving, I think you should be on the cart. Unless you know for sure that they're going to drop and start against the cart. One thing you're doing here is you see that they're on high ground, but you see how you're just kind of strafing around in the open, and now you're hard scoped in the open. Like, that Ana could have killed you in 2 darts after she threw that grenade. Nobody was looking at her. Like, the Bastion, I think, was slow to react. Yeah. Like, she should have thrown the grenade and then just double shot you. Almost did. Okay, please walk up to the cart. Please. Oh, that's unlucky. That sleep dart looked good. Yeah, it just barely misses him. Wow. That's as close a miss as you're pretty much ever going to get in your life. Yeah, that's very, very close. I think it's a good sleep. I don't think it's a great sleep. I think you could have held a little longer, just in case. Oh, you saw your Mercy on the other side. Yep, I think that's a good nano. I think I would have actually done it even earlier. Right here, I would have already popped nano, because the Bastion's way too low. You risked a lot there. Because if the Bastion dies, then you're in big, big trouble. Did you reload? You did. 2, 1, yeah. Reload. Step back. Nope. So when you see pile drive, your instinct should be to step back to prevent yourself from getting pile driven. It's both the damage, the lift, which makes you vulnerable, but also you feed ult charge. If you stepped all the way back to here, you wouldn't have been pile drive. Okay, it's like very obvious that he's going to pile drive here when he's floating in the air. You should have stepped back. No reason for you to get knocked up by that. Okay, purple the ball. It's fine. Yeah, ball dies. Great. Cassie's still there. Good sleep.
Making an old woman do all the work?
I would play card here, because the next fight that's going to happen is them coming out of a choke. You don't want to be playing this far back. So, I personally would be right here. Right? I would be on the cart. I think there is a valid strategy to be playing over here, and I think it can be very strong. As a tank player, I would hate if my Ana was doing this. Because, for example, let's say I see somebody drop down here who's got 60 health and is hiding behind. I can't go kill them because I have to stay in the cart. You know what I mean? And there's like pros and cons here. Like, the pro is you're a lot safer than you would be on the cart. But the con here is that your Junker Queen must stay on the cart, which is a problem. So it depends on how they end up rolling out and like a bunch of other factors, but I personally think it's safer, you know, maybe because I play tank more, so I have a tank bias. I think the support should be on the card here and the tank should be freedom. Unless I'm playing like Ryan or something, then I think it's probably okay. Oh man, everything goes haywire here. Okay, so you come up, you miss that grenade, and I don't really think the grenade is even necessary. You missed the Reaper also with I think 2, 3 darts. What happens to your dart here? 12? 11? I don't think that hits the Reaper, because he's not being healed. That one hits the Reaper. Then that one hits the Junker Queen, doesn't really need it. Then you miss this grenade pretty badly. Like, this is not even close to hitting the Reaper. And you didn't even throw it. Like, Reaper's already behind cover. I wouldn't throw the grenade there. I would wait, because I know I'm about to get a big fight right here. I want to save that grenade. My general tip for Ana is always try to use grenades against the enemy. In fact, if you could only choose to use them against the enemy, your team, throw it against the enemy. Because the anti-effect is much stronger than the healing effect. So, this is where things go really awry. You're trying to run away from them. I think you must turn and figure out like what is actually chasing here and look for the sleep. Because you have sleep this whole time. Imagine if you had grenade, right? Grenade right here, like grenading the Reaper, the nanoed Mercy, and both of you is fight winning right now. So, yeah, I was going to say, I think a big problem here is I would not leave the cart. I would strafe this way and like kind of jump around here. As you point out, it's hard to hit targets that are on like on level ground, and try to use the cart and circle the cart repeatedly to try to stay alive here. I think walking to the room makes it easier for them to hunt you down and kill you. Right? She's shooting at you. Right? It makes it easier than I think if you were on the cart. And when you all lose this, you still have 2 full health, 3 basically full health heroes here that have died. And yeah, they should have been on the cart, and that's their mistake, but you could have died on the cart here, which would have given them time to come back and do something. I assume they left the cart to go kill somebody. Oh no, she just simply ults past them. And I don't know what the Reaper's doing. Probably hiding from that initial chase down. So yeah, this is not so good, right? Definitely I would say positional play mistake, like decision making mistake on your part. It's definitely a hard situation though. I think that gold level players don't make that play. They do what you do, right? I'd say platinum players maybe understand like that they should have gone to the cart in this situation. I think diamond players definitely recognize that they would have gone to the cart instead of trying to play off the cart there.
Keep in sight. I'll have it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
So again, I would not hard scope this because if you're looking at this doorway and the Widow fully charged steps out, right? What's your plan? You shoot 1 dart in her and then she shoots you in the head. You know, that's not a good trade. I think, again, you should not hard scope unless you know for sure that you're not going to die there. At the beginning of the game, when you don't know what the heroes are, don't do that. It's very sloppy, and you will get punished for it sooner or later. Unfortunate. Yeah, she's purple, so there's nothing you can do. Right? You, like, throw the grenade, but, like, you shouldn't have thrown this grenade because the grenade's not going to do anything. I would have been looking earlier. I would focus less on over here because my Mercy's over here already, so I think they're fine. I would have been looking for the grenade to help my Junker Queen earlier. That's what I was thinking. Is at this point, okay, that's fine, right? Purple. I know my Junker Queen has a potential threat window right here. I'm looking to get a grenade like right here. But you don't really have a great opportunity for it. Right? She gets purple. This is really her fault. Like, there's nothing you can do in that situation. I think you need to just give up space right now and not die. Worst thing you can do right now is get staggered. So, Cassidy is coming over the top. This is crazy for you to jump over here. Like, this is a huge mistake. There's no this area is now incredibly unsafe after your tank is dead. There's no reason to stand there. Okay? You should have been playing here and then falling back with the rest of your team. But you should have seen from here that the Cassidy was being very aggressive. Right there. And you should have been like, oh, I have to shoot him and or sleep him to deter him from continuing moving. Because my Widow clearly does not. I would ping him and then shoot him. Sleeping the Sigma here doesn't do a lot because the Sigma doesn't have a good angle to actually hit anybody. So not going for the Cassidy is a problem. Now you got to get out of here, but you're slow on the nade. Right? After you shot that immediately, like even just nading in front of you would be enough. It should get you. But so you did the worst possible thing, which is get staggered after your tank. Okay, your tank dying was a mistake. You dying now is an even bigger mistake. You should either died right after your tank died or gotten out completely. Sticking around is a problem. Okay, you go back to Kiriko. You throw Suzu, which is okay. I would swift step here, right? I'd swift step so the two of us can kill that Reaper at close range. I think that if you swift step, you would have killed the Reaper. Reaper dies anyway, which is great. So I would jiggle peek this to look at the direction that he is high nooning and to see if I can headshot him. I would jiggle peek the right probably because I can see the shield on the left and it's really hard to get an angle. This is actually a really good shield from the Sigma. I don't know if you put that up in reaction to high noon. I'm actually curious. No. The Cassidy just does it at the right spot. This is actually a very good placement for high noon. Okay, so limited options here. At this point, I can tell that the high noon is going to go off. I think, I don't know if I would do this, but with the benefit of seeing the situation, I would swift step in and Suzu. If your timing is wrong, you're going to die. But if your timing is right, you save the fight. The thing is, if you don't save the Junker Queen here, you're probably going to lose the fight anyway. So that's why I would try for it. That's why I think the right move here is to try for it at this moment in time when I'm sure the Cassidy has full charge on the Junker Queen. I don't know if I would actually do that in game, but I think that is in fact the correct play. So right now, one of the few times where I think attacking is actually the right call. There's no way that you can win this fight without attacking. Suzu. Oh, okay, yeah. You delay. So again, once you're gonna cart, prioritize time, right? Like, what's your goal here? Is to stall for a few more seconds? Maybe. I mean, they have 2 minutes left, so it could be to stall for a few more seconds. But honestly, I think you want to die quickly here to rejoin with your team. So I think that... Actually, I think you want to get out, is what you want to do. I think you want to turn and switch up to your Widow. That's actually the correct play here. You have plenty of time to get out. Or you did. You looked for the Widow, but she went back. So if you're going to be stuck here, go for headshots, right? Try to kill support or something. So you jump, but like you should have known that she was full health. Like you can see that she's solid blue. She's gonna be full health. Don't even bother healing. Just start throwing kunais. Yep, you look for Suzu. I saw you look for it. You're like, do I need to throw Suzu? That's good. I think that's good instinct. I think you can take this opportunity to throw some kunais. At the Cassidy in particular is where I would throw right now. And then the Ana, once the Ana starts peeking, would be the highest priority target. Alright, Reaper's on you. Reaper whiffs. You hit the headshot. So the Reaper's low enough that if he tries to fight us, we can kill you, and the Widow can kill him at close range. But once he gets a Mega, that's all bets are off. Alright. So, Junker Queen goes in. There's a mess going on here, which you would only have some idea about. What do you do in the situation? I think I swift step to the Junker Queen, because I know that it's only the Sigma and the Ana. Because I've seen the situation. I know I can hear the rest of the team to the left. I think I swift step over here, help kill the Ana, keep my Junker Queen line, and then swift step back if I need to. Keep Queen alive. You heard the steps on your left. You should recognize that the Reaper is here. I would also think that the Reaper's getting very close to ulti because he went through the entire first point without ulting. So I would think ulti, right? Reaper ulti here for sure. Okay, this is unfortunate. So you get lifted and killed. There's not much you can do here. So the correct move here is to throw Suzu at the ground right before you land. So basically, like as you're falling, chuck the Suzu down. And you should chuck it down between the two of you. Unfortunately, that is not gonna matter because you get killed out of the air anyway, and then you end up dying. This is tough, because usually I do like, oh, like clearly you did a thing that like resulted that you could have changed to change the outcome of the game. I don't know that you actually could have. Not now. Like, over the course of the game, I think you could have played better and accrued more advantages and more time. Like, remember the 15 seconds that you got? Like, 15 seconds maybe gets you to this door and then opens it, and then you get to push out and go further. You know what I mean? So, that is plausible. But at this point in time, starting at the when the second point pushes, you don't really make any mistakes. Like, you don't do anything to change the outcome either, but you don't make any mistakes that I feel like were egregious. I don't think you get pushed back. I think you do a good job holding high ground here. I think other than like the biggest single difference is that I would have swift stepped out here to kill the Ana. But the Ana dies anyway here. So like, would that really have changed anything? Like, we would have split up right now. Like, the Sigma would have been kind of where I would have like probably Suzu'd here and then swift step back up to the Widow. Yeah. Yeah, let me think about this. I don't really know what would have gone differently. Okay. So this I would highlight as a problem. So you drop down here. The Junker Queen's out of your healing range anyway. Why bother playing on the ground? This is like probably the only major thing that I think that you could have done differently. There's no point playing on the ground. There's nobody to heal. There's nobody to attack. I would have gone back up to high ground, especially knowing that they've consistently tried to come through the upper hallway. Because there's nothing you can do from this far away. Either swift step to your Junker Queen and commit, which is what I probably would have done, or stay high ground and keep your stay with your Widow. Because even from up here, you could have gone, stepped over, and healed your Junker Queen safely. And then when you hear this Cassidy run up, because if you're up here, you would have heard the footsteps would have been incredibly loud. You would have heard this, and then turn, and then fought the Cassidy, and then use Suzu to cleanse Grenade. And then you would be alive, and then your Widow would be alive. And the Cassidy would be dead or running back to the Mega. Which might be enough to change this fight. Right. Also, if you'd done a better job healing, you would have Rush sooner. So if you had Rush 2 or 3 seconds sooner, you would have popped it, and then it would have been much harder for Sigma to ult all of you. Right? Because you're much, much faster, and you probably get out of this. So if we just found any moment in the last, 60 seconds of gameplay where you could have gotten more healing in or more damage, you would have gotten ulti, right? Because you're literally 2% away from getting it. So like any little opportunity that you could have gotten to get a little bit more damage, like right here, for example, where you just whiff like your kunais. Right, miss. Like you could have been attacking throughout that. Like you could have gotten 4 more kunais in that period of time, though you only have 2 left, to farm just a little more ult charge, for example. So yeah, it's tough to say. I think that you played that reasonably well, right? Okay. So for starters, I would say, again, I think the gameplay looks really good. I would expect that you probably have a positive win rate on Kiriko and are climbing. I would be surprised if you feel stuck. I think that overall, I think your decision-making, ability usage, etc. looks pretty good to me. And I think it certainly looks platinum level. At a minimum, I think it looks platinum level. I don't think you're actually that far away from diamond if you were one-tricking Kiriko. I honestly do not think there's that big a gap. And I would expect right now, I would hope that you're winning like 60%-ish plus of your games on Kiriko. So I think we did identify a bunch of little things, like little movement things that you can improve upon. So we pointed out a few of them, like when you're greedy, you have the wide peaks, right? The dangerous wide peaks, especially when you don't know the enemy composition. I think is dangerous. There are times where you don't save people because you're not pre-healing the front target. I think that's a big one. Not attacking like target priority times, like for example when the Mercy was just like standing there in the open, and then when she was rezzing, I think are big. Just letting people die a little more often than you should. But generally you're like hitting Suzus, you're hitting healing. I don't know, there's like overarching notes that I have here, which I think is actually pretty rare. Because attack went really well. On defense, what happens here? Yeah, because your Jungle Queen gets absolutely rolled. That's kind of the main problem. Like your DPS, etc., are getting rolled. Like there's nothing you could have done about that. This is gonna be a rare replay where I'm like, no, there's really not much that you could have done that much more differently to significantly sway the outcome of this game. Like if I was playing this game, would it really have been that different? I don't know. Like you know. Sometimes it's just like that. Yeah, I think getting hit there. Yeah, so in summary, right, to not run this on too much longer, I would say it's just going to be a bunch of little things. I don't even know there's an overarching theme here. I think just a bunch of little things that you can improve all over the place to make yourself a little better. But I think overall, I think this looks really, really good. All right, cool. Hopefully that helps.